Okay, ladies and gents, so the Mason Greenwood situation just took a crazy turn because get this, despite there being a lot of evidence that clearly, proves that Mason Greenwood was guilty of what he's accused of, legally, from a legal standpoint of view, he's not going to be tried for this at all. That's right. And here's my honest opinion of that, because where I'm from, I'm not from the UK, I'm from the US, and, I imagine it's much like in the United Kingdom, like how it is here in the US, even though I'm not a legal expert, innocent until proven guilty. And from a legal standpoint of view, legally, Mason Greenwood has been declared innocent, even though the evidence against him on social media just proves otherwise. I guess that despite that, they still felt like they won't be trying him for what he's accused of in court, in a legal court of law, and all that stuff. And I guess what this really means right now for Mason Greenwood is I still think that he's not ever going to be featuring in any more games for Manchester United, especially after the evidence against him. It would just you would just think that United at this point, they might just either just move on from him completely once his, I guess, contract is up, or I guess he's probably going to get picked up by some smaller footballing side in England, whether it's an EFL Championship side or any lower division tier team. That's where I imagine Mason Greenwood realistically, where his footballing career is going to go from here, because I think that the days of him, putting on that Manchester United shirt and featuring in any sort of games for him are long gone now. This is my honest opinion, and this is how I think his future footballing career is going to end up like, because obviously, with Mason Greenwood, after what he was accused of, you would think that at this point United, they probably, after they saw the video, because I imagine United saw the video when the allegations first came out against him, that I imagine that they instantly try to distance themselves from Mason Greenwood as much as possible, so that it doesn't make the club and the badge look bad and all that stuff, from a moral standpoint of view. But I guess what really is going to come down to, especially I guess how his sponsors handle that, because I do imagine, because I believe that he might have been dropped by some sponsors. I don't know, because I don't know what his sponsors are, but all I know is right now, it seems like that Mason Greenwood could just either get a slap on the wrist after what he's accused of doing and all that stuff, because that's really what this feels like, just a big slap on the wrist. Because it's like, the way how I see it, in my honest opinion, I think he's guilty 100%, because especially after all the audio recordings were released, it's just crazy to think that despite all the evidence being out there on social media, that like I said before, that prosecutors could, I guess, use against him. I guess that's what they are called in the UK, even though I really don't know how the heck UK's justice and legal system works, I'll be honest here. But yeah, all I gotta say is that it feels like Mason Greenwood could likely have gotten away with this and all that stuff, because I mean, just for the charges against him to be dropped completely is just absolutely wild. And let me know in the comment section below, how do you people think the police handled this? Do you think they handled this good or poorly? I'd love to hear what people's different opinions are on the Mason Greenwood case. But yeah, like I said before, realistically, all I think is going to happen right now is that he's going to get picked up by some smaller football club that I guess, is either desperate for a player like him to help improve their club's fortunes and all that stuff. But I guess you could say that I don't think he's going to feature in any more games for Manchester United, but I could be wrong. I don't know, but I don't think he's going to feature in any more games for United ever again. I don't know, but that's the way how I see it. But I'm curious what you guys think about this, because I quite frankly have nothing else to say about this. But yeah, the charges against Mason Greenwood have been dropped despite there being a lot of evidence against him on social media. This is just absolutely insane. So yeah, that's all I gotta say.